Despite the damage, the airport reopened today. Ataturk Airport is the third busiest in Europe and has been feared to be a terrorist target. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. The CBC's Nala Ayed has been following the story, and she joins us live now from Istanbul. So Nala, there you are at the airport. What's it like there?
Well, as you mentioned, it is now, against all the odds, operational. In fact, we arrived just a short while ago, and there are thousands of people inside that building. So it seems to be back to normal, but it isn't quite normal because there have been extensive delays throughout the day, obviously, because of what happened this morning. But the speed with which they were able to get operations back is pretty extraordinary. Now, while walking into the baggage area and out through the immigration area, we did see some of the damage. We weren't allowed to take pictures, but out here, the arrival hall, there are people who have come to greet loved ones despite all of this, and there is intense security, very, very heavy security here. But we do have a sense from the authorities, Andrew, as to how the attackers might have moved around this area that you see around me here. So let me give you a sense of that. What we understand from the authorities is that the attackers arrived by taxi. Here's the taxi rank just over here. They would have arrived in one of those taxis, gotten out of there, and first entered into a building right above here where the first attack happened just beyond this camera here. That's where the first attacker would have detonated his bomb. And what we understand is right behind me is the departures hall. This is the arrivals hall, but above is the departures hall, and that's where the other attackers blew up the bombs that they were holding. We don't know all the details yet, of course, Andrew. The investigation is still going on. And in fact, we are just waiting to hear momentarily from the Prime Minister, who is going to update the investigation, but also the numbers of injured and dead. Andrew.
Nala, thank you. The CBC's Nala Ayed live in Istanbul. Now, for the latest on the political response to the attack in Turkey, I'm joined by reporter Dorian Jones in Istanbul. And so, Dorian, what's the official response from the Turkish government so far?
Well, the Turkish Prime Minister, speaking shortly after the attack in the early hours of the morning at the airport, was quick to point the finger of blame at the Islamic State. He said all the initial investigations point to the Islamic State. Now, that is unusual. In the past, normally Turkish government officials are very slow to accuse the Islamic State. Not in this case. On top of that, we've had the Turkish President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, calling for the world to unite against terror. Now, that is seen as code for Turkey to press its Western allies to designate a Syrian Kurdish group as a terrorist organization. Ankara accuses them of being linked to the Kurdish separatists, the PKK, fighting in Turkey. Its Western allies have refused to do that. The reason? The Syrian Kurdish group is probably the most effective force fighting the Islamic State in Syria. That has caused fury in Turkey. Now Turkey will, I think, seek to use its latest attack to push the agenda, saying there should be no differentiation on terror. Terror, is the message coming from Ankara.
Dorian, thank you. The freelance reporter Dorian Jones in Istanbul.